Hey guys, welcome back to the next part of our series. Today we're going to continue with the other half of our character, but we're going to be using a trick that's going to save us a lot of time. It's going to be really simple. The thing we need to do is we need to create something called smart materials. And smart materials are pretty much just a combination of the materials from one place to another. Well, that's one way to do it. I'm going to show you that way first, since it's really easy. And then I'm going to show you another way, which is actually, I think, a little bit better. So let's start here with the cloth. Do we need the cloth? Yeah, because we have the pants down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the cloth, the whole folder. I'm going to right click, and we can just do a create a smart material right here. Then what's going to happen is we're going to get a smart material right here. It's going to be called cloth. Now, unfortunately, since we did do a little bit of masking, the smart material will behave with masks, and we need to repaint those masks in the other element. But it's actually not a big deal. So I'm just going to drag the whole thing here on cloth. And let's see how it looks. There we go. Now, why does this work so cool out of the box, like just by dragging and dropping here? Well, it worked because most of the things that we did were using the same colors from the mask ID that we have had back in the top part. However, the colors are off. The pants should be brown, so let's make them brown. And for that, I'm just gonna, I think we can get rid of this, guys. I'm gonna get rid of the black mask here. So remove mask, there we go. Actually, we need this thing. So let's just remove the mask. There we go, so now we have brown pants, perfect. And now the only thing we need to do is make sure that the mask that we're using here is actually working properly. And I'm gonna do a black mask here, and gonna select add color selection. Pick a color, I'm gonna pick the blue color. And there we go. Now, since this is the new blue color and it's following only the pants, everything should be nicely selected. Now, I can see that we have a little bit of an issue here and there, but it's gonna be fine since this is the leather and we can just mask that out later on. Now, the reason why I prefer to do this method is because it's really easy, and if everything is set up properly the way we did it, it should be a pretty straightforward, just plug and play solution. However, there's another way to do it, and let me see if we can get this to work. I'm gonna go here into the other element, and let's do it for the metals. I'm gonna grab the metal element, and I'm gonna copy the layer right here, or the whole folder. I'm gonna just copy layers, and then I'm gonna go here, and on top of this thing, I'm gonna say paste layers as instance. This is very important because what we're doing here is we're instancing this thing to obey what's happening on the other metals. So if I were to go into my other UDIM set right here and change whatever thing, let's say we change this from silver to like gold or something, since it's an instance, it's gonna propagate that element all the way to the other side. Now again, this only works because my ID map is exactly the same for both sets. If I were to choose a different color for a different set, then this wouldn't work. But as you can see here, this works really well. Like, look at that. We get some very nice definition on the metal areas, and at the same time, we pretty much mask every single piece of metal for our elements. So the instance method is really good. Again, as long as you make proper use of the ID maps. Now I'm gonna go into my leather folder, which is gonna be complicated. The leather folder, I'm not gonna do an instance because I think that's gonna be a little bit more tricky. It's not as simple as just the metal. So I'm just gonna copy the layers and paste the layers on top of the cloth. Let's just say paste layers. There we go. This is not a smart material. The only reason why you would want a smart material is if you want to save this for a future project. If you don't want to do that, you can just leave it out. Now, the one thing that you can, or I can see here, is that the leather from the pants is a little bit more reddish than the one from the rest of the elements. So I actually think that this straps right here should be the other letter. So let's play with the colors. Let's start with the first strap. That's fine, we can leave, actually we can leave the dirt. So there we go, this is the first color. And my first color in this case is gonna be the pants. And for that, I'm gonna select the parameters, main, and let's select the proper color for for the leather. Should be this reddish, slightly darker than the, a little bit more reddish, I think. It's really saturated, not that red. There we go. So I'm trying to find the perfect balance here, because you can see here that the color is actually really nice, and it's like a cherry kind of wood. So I think I'm gonna up the saturation just a tad bit. But it's complicated because it's reddish, so you need a little bit of saturation, but at the same time it's dark or not as saturated. So it's like a middle ground. And even if we do the picker, you can see here that we get like a very different color. So I'm kind of eyeballing this in such a way that we get the exact tone that we're looking for. It tells me this is the tone, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more saturation to it. There we go. That's gonna be my base layer. Then the boots are definitely a little bit cleaner, so similar to the gloves. So it's gonna be this one right here. So I'm gonna go into the mask. I'm gonna say color selection. Let's get rid of this one that we have, and let's pick the blue color. Perfect. See that? So all the little straps and the boots get this nice looking color. However, I do think that the boots, actually we need to select the shoes as well. Pick color. So that's a blue. Pick color. Pick color. Oh wait, if we select the boots, the issue is that we're gonna get all the rest of the pants, and we don't want that. So I think we can select actually the lower areas here. Same for this thing. On the color selection, let's add the red from the soles. There we go. That looks nice. See, so that doesn't look that bad. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about is that these straps look a little bit too light for my taste. So I'm gonna go here into my leather. I'm gonna go into the channels. Oh, sorry, I always mess this up. Advanced parameters, main, and let's bring this color down. So we do want to have a little bit of a different tone than the pants, but not that different. So something like that works really, really well. And see those nice little scratches and elements and stuff? That's exactly what we're looking for. That is the elements that we want to capture on our shoes right there. Now we have a third leather, and that leather is the one I'm going to use for the backs, because otherwise the backs are going to be really weird. And you can see again that the backs have this other tone, like it's one tone for the pants, one tone for this, and one tone for the backs. So for this final leather, I'm gonna use a different method. Instead of doing the paint selection and the color selection, I'm actually gonna do a paint layer. I'm gonna use my polygon fill to fill these guys. And there we go. Since they're different elements, or they're separate elements, it's really, really easy to just get it there. Now, the one issue I'm looking at is the fact that the wrinkles are way too big for this leather backs. So I'm gonna go again here into the parameters, and let's make this bigger. There you go, something like that's a little bit better. I think it's a little bit too much even with that, so I'm gonna go into the main section, and I'm gonna reduce the fold intensity. There we go, because I want my sculpture to give me the proper color. And I'm gonna use my color here. And it's this nice looking element right there. Now, these bags, I did on purpose forget to add some of the straps and things that we are missing here. So we're gonna do that now. And what I'm gonna do is right here on top of this, guys, I'm gonna add a new layer. I'm gonna get rid of everything except for the height map. And we're gonna start detailing these elements right here. So we are definitely gonna need a black mask. This should go lower like that. It's definitely gonna be super small, probably one pixel high. Yeah. And let's turn on the, we could do the symmetry, I think. No, can we? Yeah, I think we can. Like, we can do the symmetry and place the plane as symmetrical as possible on these things. And that should save us. Did that hit it? Yeah, it's pretty much there. That should save us a little bit of time. Let's turn on the lazy mouse. There we go. Let's do a very sharp turn there. Right there. And go to the back. Oh. And probably about there. Now on the sides, we get this nice line going down. Like so. And probably around. And then this line going down like this. Again, keep it organic. Don't go super straight. Like give it a little bit of jaggedness or curvature. That makes it look really, really nice. Here, we're definitely gonna add one line going down and around. Whoop. Now careful here. It's just there we go. So it looks finished. And I can see like an extra little like line that it has here, like a support or something. So let's just add it. It's super easy, right? So we can just do it. And even though this is not the metal, we should do a little bit of a height map there. I mean, it's such a small detail that it really doesn't make that much of a difference. But to be honest, it works really nice. Now, I believe there's a couple of tools here for... where is it? Brushes. There's like stitch brushes. Leaf, paint roller. Yeah, so like stitch 1 for instance. In this case, it's not making such a big difference. Maybe if we rotate this 90 degrees. There we go. Yeah, so if we wanted to do, we could also do that. However, I think this is a very straight line, so we're fine doing like the basic line here. But if you want to, you can play around with the different brushes and get like different patterns going. So I'm gonna go down here. This little thing also has a little bit of a line. In this case, I think I am gonna use my shift key all the way down. There we go. Here, let's go down, and then very straight, we'll just cross over. There we go. On the sides on this one, have something very similar going on. So I'm just gonna go down, stop there, go down, it goes around. And there we go. So it probably goes like around, like to the back here. Like that. I'm gonna go here on the back side as well. And then down here. And then it has like the support here. Now see how that negative space gets that like weird hole? That's fine. We're probably gonna paint that black later on. Now for this one, since we did move the thing when we were working on this thing, I need to readjust the position so that it matches the new middle. So it should be that one. And same deal. We're just gonna go around to that corner there, and then down to this thing here. We're also gonna need to do the carving. Oh, see, the thing is not perfectly aligned, so we missed this a little bit, so let's move it a little bit. That's closer, but still not super close. So let's do 0.62. No, it's 0.6005. 0.6005. 0.6003. There we go. I think that's as close as we can get. Well, actually, we can get really close. Let's do 25. There we go. That's the exact middle point. So back here, grab a brush, the lines all the way here, all the way to the top here. Again, could we have done these lines in ZBrush? Yeah, most definitely. Is it okay if we wait until the texture phase? I think for game characters, it's a really good option because you don't know how much geometry you're actually gonna have to work with until you're at this stage of the process. And if you go overboard and you do like a super high detail sculpture and then you're making to like a 1K map for the character, it's a lot of time wasted for a character that's never gonna be able to hold that amount of what's the word of geometry, of detail. So that's why I usually prefer to do this way, like do the bakes first, and then once we're here, actually see how it looks and if we can add that kind of detail. And we can. The only issue is that we're facing the same problem that we did before, like the cavity mask that we have here is not affecting those lines. So let's do this real quick. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna say add anchor point. Let's call this anchor point a leather details mask. Let's go to my ambient occlusion, to the dirt element. Let's go up here to the micro detail, turn micro height and micro normal on. Go down here, micro normal, select the leather detail mask, micro height, select the normal detail mask. There we go. And now the levels, I believe we need to invert both of them. There we go. So now this dirt actually affects those holes as well, and we should get a nicer looking leather pattern there. I think the color is a little bit too bright, just a tad bit. So I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna make it slightly darker, just slightly. Maybe a little bit more saturated, but darker. There we go. So that we do have a nice distinction between all the different leather pieces, but at the same time, everything looks really nice. Now the metal, I can see that mine is not as shiny as what we had before, or as what we have in the concept. You can see the concept here, it's really shiny. So what I'm gonna do now, or what I'm gonna do for the metal, is I'm actually gonna go here to the metal in the original texture set. And remember, the metal is working as a, what's it called? It's working as a instance. So technically, if we change this color, if we bring this color up, we should get a nice little detail here. Now I think that's a little bit too much, to be honest, but I do want to keep it lighter. And since this is lighter, that means that we can bring, for instance, this guy. Was it this guy? Yeah, the dirt. We can make it slightly darker to get a little bit of an extra punch there. We can have like 2 layers of dirt, and that should give us a nice element. Now here the issue is we might have a little bit of a problem there with instance, so I don't want to do it just yet. You know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna bring this down to the tone that I liked, which was this one, maybe slightly higher, a little bit higher. And what I'm gonna do rather is I'm gonna add just a normal what's it called, metal edgeware. So I'm just gonna add a new color here. In this case, I'm gonna use only color. It's gonna be, this one is gonna be actually completely white. I'm gonna go into black mask and I'm gonna add a generator. I'm gonna add a metal edgeware. There we go. And now this is gonna be multiplied with linear dodge. And I'm gonna lower this quite a bit. So what this is gonna do is gonna allow me to make everything slightly brighter without actually getting rid of the other color. Now, again, I don't want to have what we had before where everything is completely symmetrical in that regard. So I'm gonna add a new fill layer. Let's add a noise. In this case, let's add like clouds. I think clouds 1 will be fine. And let's multiply this. Let's make this scale a little bit bigger, or smaller actually. Change the balance. And what that's gonna do is it should give us some nice metal edgewares in certain areas, but not everywhere. So from this, where everything is on, to this, where things are slightly less so. I think I want even less. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to play with the size. Let's leave this at 1. There we go. See that? So just like certain places where this thing is going to be illuminated and others where it shouldn't be as illuminated. And there we go. That's pretty much it for the overall texture of the element. With this ready, it is now time to jump into another area that I really like, which it is actually aging the whole thing as a whole in a way that makes everything feel a little bit nicer. So hang on tight and I'll show you that in the next video. Bye-bye.